that my Sentra has a blown head gasket. It's not, I think it's between one of the cylinders and the coolant water jacket. And it's not putting out any white smoke, which is steam. It's just using coolant. And at times, if you look at the overflow bottle, you can see a lot of bubbles coming up. And I don't have the time now to replace the head gasket. So what I did is I did a test, and I'm going to do that test all over again because I'm going to complete the test after I do this repair. It's a chemical repair, and I'm going to see how well it does. So basically I have this test kit, and the fluid comes separate. You buy the test kit, and what you have to do is drain part of your coolant out. And what you're doing is sampling the atmosphere of the radiator for exhaust. And you have to wait till the thermostat opens, which I think that's what happened with this. I think it's got a thermostat that doesn't open either all the time or partially opens. I think that's what caused it to overheat. And it could have already had a slight head gasket issue, and this just made it worse. But so the fluid you have to get separately. It's $10 for the fluid. I think the kit was $30. I had a 20% off discount coupon for the kit. And what I bought was this. It's after doing some research on the internet, this is, I think it's Fusion. It's made by a company called Fusion. Yeah, Fusion. And it's a two-part, it's actually an epoxy. And so I'm going to try it, see what it does. So I'm going to do a before and after test. I also have a new radiator cap. This one's starting to get a little wonky. Looks like it's gotten some escaping fumes or something. That's probably original 17-year-old or 18-year-old radiator cap. I'm going to drain some fluid out because you have to get the level down in the radiator to a point where you won't draw coolant in when you take a sample of the atmosphere in the radiator. So there's the drain for the radiator right there. It's on the driver's side of the car, which should be left, I guess. So it's left to loosen. So what I have to do now is I drain they said 3 inches from the top. So what I have to do now is start the car and let it run until the thermostat opens. Steam, I don't know if that's just normal condensation. It was real hot yesterday, and now it's cold this morning, and everything's got a mist on it. So I don't know if that's, yeah, it's going away, so that's probably just condensation in the exhaust. I'm going to work on getting the kit ready. So you have to fill it up to this line with the fluid. And then this bulb goes in the end of this goes out and this part goes in. What happens is if there's presence of exhaust gas, the fluid goes from blue to yellow. It feels really hot, so I think it's ready. So for a minute, you're supposed to keep squeezing this. So there you have it. It's yellow. And there's ways you can figure out what cylinder is too. You can disconnect the turn it off, and then disconnect the unplugged coil. And theoretically, you shouldn't get the exhaust gas because that cylinder isn't firing. And you have to do that with all four of them. I don't know if that's how good that works, but I don't know why you'd really want to figure out which one it is. So now what I have to do is, it says in the instructions, for the best results you have to remove the thermostat. So that's that is right there. Thermostat's right there, and that right there in the top left corner, that's a bleed screw, I think. Maybe not. No, I don't think it is the bleed screw. I think the bleed screw is... Maybe it is. Oh, wait. No. So I got to remove probably the air box. Maybe the battery, because this is a UELV or ULEV, ultra low emission vehicle. And it's got the EGR, which hopefully I can probably work around that. It's got 4 aux sensors. 2 pre-cat and 2 after-cat, which a lot of cars nowadays have. I mean, I have a 2006 Impala, Malibu that has that. Has 4 aux sensors. The gearbox. Connect this sensor here. It's probably I would probably say the mass airflow sensor. Probably have to cut this wire tie first. Sensors on this, you just push in the top here, push that in, and then pull it back. These just flip up. I think just about every airbox on just about every car uses these nowadays. It's connected the negative battery cable, and there's one more sensor disconnected. It's probably the IAT, the idle air temp, and that you just squeeze that in and pull back. I can't do it with one hand. So now we're going to remove the thermostat. It says in the instructions that for the best outcome of the product to remove the thermostat. There's 3 bolts. Making a bit of a mess here. So it's got the little poppet at the top, so that's facing out. And it's got some corrosion around the top there. It might have been leaking a little bit. What do you think? Let's see if I can zoom in on that. Something's going on there. May not have been leaking out, maybe leaking past the thermostat. Like I said, I think it might have been bad. Looks like there might be a little leak in there. Yeah, it looks like a little bit of a leak maybe. There's something going on. Unusual gasket. It's all deformed. Something's going on. Look at the thermostat. Look how it's discolored. Okay, so I'm not going to go into the specifics of the product. It's all on the label, but one of the things you have to do is completely drain the cooling system, so I had to disconnect the bottom hose. And of course, when you take the thermostat out, all the coolant from the block comes out, so I have to put it back, the housing, the thermostat housing, without a thermostat in it. Luckily I bought an extra gasket with the thermostat that I bought. I put a new seal in. I cleaned all the stuff that was in there out, scraped it out, put the new seal in. So it says in instructions to leave the thermostat out, and you gotta flush it. I flush the system with clean water, and then I have to do some run and cool down cycles with after I put the fusion part A and part B in. So what I'm doing now is I put the thermostat housing back on without the thermostat. I filled it up with just pure water, as it said in the instructions. It says to do that once and then drain it and then put the fusion sealer in. But I'm gonna keep flushing it until the coolant. I just flushed it and the coolant came out and it was kind of green. I'm gonna keep flushing it. It usually takes about 3 times for it to come out clear. So with the radiator empty, I just finished pouring in the first part. Now I'm going to pour in the second part. Radiator cap. 15 minutes on, 15 minutes off, 15 minutes on, 15 minutes off, 15 minutes on, 15 minutes off. And then I think it's a dry for 20 minutes. And it says if you don't notice any change, leave it in the system for 48 hours. So I'm going to do that anyway. I can't really tell if it takes at least a day or two to figure out if it's leaking or using any, it's not leaking, see if it's using any coolant. So I'm just going to leave it in for 48 hours. So since there's no thermostat in there, I can take a sample right away. I just started the car up. It does work. It stayed blue. It sealed the head gasket. So it does work. To drain the coolant, well, there's actually not coolant, it's just water in the diffusion. They said to drain the block and leave the bottom radiator attached, and also I have to put the thermostat back in, so I'll leave that open. They said leave it like that for 2 hours and let everything dry out. So I will do that. Found this, it's like a, when I was took the overflow bottle out to clean it and to flush it out. And I found this. I mean, it looks like it's from the factory like that. Like it's maybe for like a coolant tank fluid level that they never implemented, or that's strange. I can't think. There's nothing else in this area to go to, and the tank for the. I mean, it might be for the washer fluid, but I think that has one in it already. Just tucked down in here, like that. I took the air box, everything out again, and I have well, there wasn't a thermostat in there. I just had a gasket, so I'm supposed to let the system dry out for like 2 hours. Even though it's showing good results, that's part of the process. And then I got to flush it again. So while that's all taking place, what I'm going to do is what holds the water bottle in, this is stripped. That's the way it came, and the water bottle had a bunch of cracks in it, the overflow bottle. So I've got a new one, and I just had the wire tied through there holding it on. So I thought I'd see if I could tap that out. Okay, it's all tapped. Clean the threads up real good. I think it's 6 by 1. 6 by 100, I guess. Let me see if I can get that better. All the new thermostat.